Pip and Pin Podcast. My name is Megan Nodecker, and I'm a knitting pattern designer from Abbotsford, British Columbia, Canada. You can find me on Instagram as Pip and Pin, on Ravelry as Knit Pip and Pin, and in the Ravelry group, Pip and Pin. Today is it's May the 24th. It feels like it should be March the 24th. I don't know what's happened with time lately. It's a pretty nice Sunday afternoon. Justin and Georgia, my husband and daughter, are out for the afternoon. They're going to drop some stuff off at his parents' house, so I have a couple hours to myself and thought I'd take the opportunity to podcast alone for once, hopefully with minimal distractions. Fred's, our cat, has been having a day. He's been just pretty much running back and forth across the house all morning. So he's asleep now, but who knows how long that'll last. Anyways, this is a knitting podcast. Today I'm going to talk to you about some finished objects, some knit-alongs, some works in progress, some beautiful yarn that's come in the mail, all sorts of good stuff. And I have a drink recipe at the end. I'm drinking I made some like mint cucumber syrup stuff, and it's delicious, and I'm going to talk more about it later, but it's amazing. Anyways, I have lots to talk about today because I didn't film for a couple weeks. It's been tough. I forgot what it's like George is in kindergarten, and I forgot kind of what it's like to have her home. Not that it's bad or anything, but it's definitely harder to do things like podcast or work in general. So I figured I would just take things easy and not be too hard on myself. So you get a podcast every 2 weeks for now instead of every week like we're used to. That being said, I do have a lot to talk about today. So I'm just going to start talking. The first thing is I have a finished object and I'm wearing it. And it also ties into a knit-along. So this is a City Limits sweater by Tanis Lavely. It is a top-down sweater pattern. I think it's written for worsted and fingering held double, which is what I did. It has these beautiful like things. I'll stand up so that you can see it, and I'll talk about it a little more. Okay, so this is the City Limits. I did mine. How many colors did I use? I don't know. A certain amount of colors. You kind of hold them double and then you marl them from one color to the next. This is technically the wrong side of the sweater, but I want to be pearl. I like the pearl side better because there's also this detail that runs from the raglan all the way down, which I thought was very nice and needed to be highlighted. I did have some yardage issues with this sweater. Let's see, let's go through the yarns that I used here. I'm not going to go into too much detail. This is, the top color here is Autumn and Indigo. This bluey color here is also an Autumn and Indigo. This was actually a sport weight, and I did run out of some of this yarn. You can't really tell here, but I had to use a different kind of yarn, just the very last couple rows here. This is, I can't remember. This is looking at some altered schemes. This is Autumn and Indigo. This is Sweet Fiber. And then at the bottom we have some really, really dark green plucky knitter. I love how this is faded. Oh yeah, and on the cuffs, because I did start to run out of yarn quite quickly, I had to make the stripes on the sleeves shorter than the stripes on the body. And I did have to add some black. I just used some stroll fingering, just in the black colorway. When it blocked out really, really long. Like the sleeves were like almost too long. They blocked out to about here. After wearing it around for a little while, it has loosened up, and so now the sleeves kind of sit about here. They tend to get shorter. I don't know. I'm cool with the sleeve length. The body length also kind of was really long and it was perfect, and then it shrunk up about 3 inches just from wear, just because it is all superwash yarn, so it does tend to go down when you block it, just from the weight of it and the nature of superwash yarns. Now that I've worn it, because I've worn it a ton since I finished it, it has stretched a little bit wider, and so it's gone up. So it's actually a little bit shorter than I would like, because I wanted this to be a kind of comfy, cozy, throw on over everything kind of sweater. So it is a little bit short to my liking. I might go back and add some black to the body as well. We'll see if that actually happens or not. I didn't really make any modifications to the pattern, but if you've seen me talk about this before and you are thinking about making it, just be careful with your yardage. Make sure you have a scale. Make sure you have an extra skein of something on hand, just in case. That's one thing I think the pattern was lacking a little bit, was just guidance on yardage requirements. Other than that, really great pattern. Super fun to knit. I think it, from start to finish, I'd have to double check my Ravelry page, which I do have a Ravelry page for it. I have Ravelry pages for all my stuff, so if you're curious about yarns or notes or anything like that, you can always check my Ravelry page. I didn't make any modifications to the pattern at all. Really great pattern. It just was super fun to knit. Oh yeah, I was gonna say, I think it was start to finish exactly 4 weeks, which for a sweater is pretty good, I think. A couple of things I might do differently if I were to knit this again, which I am thinking about knitting this again. It was a really fun sweater to knit, and I like the fit of it. I just wish I had gone up a size. I also didn't swatch, so I know. I am usually one to say, swatch for everything, but I didn't. And I ended up with a sweater that's a tiny bit smaller than I want. I still love it, and I'm still gonna wear it. There's certain outfits that I can wear with it. Like, it's not, I can't wear it with my super, super skinny jeans because it just isn't quite the right shape. But I can wear it with like more loose fitting jeans and have it be kind of it's a comfy weekend sweater, and that's exactly what I wanted. I just wish I had done it a size bigger, or maybe gone up a needle size even, because I do love the kind of drapey, like it's very loose. So that's my city limits. We as in Sam of Hand Me My Knitting, she hosts the Hand Me My Knitting podcast and has the Hand Me My Knitting Ravelry group. We're hosting a knit along for the City Limits sweater. And that is going until June 8th. So you probably, unless you're a super speedy knitter and can get this done real quick, you might not have enough time to cast one on. But if you're in the middle of one, or cast one on when the pattern first came out and haven't really had a chance to work on it, feel free to join our knit along. We have a chatter thread over on Sam's Ravelry page, and then a finished object thread, which is on mine. And I recently got some yarn for prizes. So I'm thinking, because we're gonna pull a prize from each. So she'll pull from the chatter thread and I'll pull a prize from the faux thread. So I think my prize is gonna be, not quite sure yet, but I'm thinking a skein of yarn and a pattern, maybe a sock set, some notions, because I'm all about notions. Haven't decided yet, but I do have some stuff put aside for prizes. So yeah, you should finish up your sweaters and join our knit along. That is ending on June 8th. You know what? And this is about as long as I'm going to last in this sweater. I knew I wasn't going to be able to last the whole podcast. This is all you get. I love it, but I'm going to take it off. Maybe right before summertime isn't the best time to be making a worsted weight sweater, but the nights are still pretty cool here. So, and we do have some rainy days. It's still springtime here, so I'll be wearing it for a couple more weeks, I think, and then putting it away for fall. So now I have lots of whips, lots of things, not lots of things that you haven't seen, but some things that you haven't seen, and some things that I've put lots of work into. So I'm going to start with this guy here. This is a new design that I'm working on, and I'm using Brooklyn Tweed Shelter in the Artifact colorway, and it is this. This is the Cat Bells cardigan. So this is going to be the sister pattern to the Cat Bells sweater, which is a pattern that I released last fall. This is just going to be an open front drop sleeve cardigan, and I finished the body and blocked it. So it's quite long. I definitely have a thing for long sweaters, long cardigans specifically. This is where I kind of was last time. You can see my little owl progress keeper there. That was from when Sam and I went to Portland in March, right before we couldn't go to America anymore. But yeah, so I'm super happy that the body is finished. And now that the body is finished, I did block it, and it is a dream to wear. Honestly, this is going to be a really great light kind of cardigan thing. Spring, fall. I think it's going to be really amazing. Now that I've also finished the body, the sweater version has kind of like these bubble sleeves, and it's in that kind of garter pattern. I think I'm not going to do that with this one because I'm going to put pockets on the front. I'm just going to do stockinette like patch pockets on the fronts, and then I'm thinking just stockinette for the sleeves with a really wide, big, fold over, like ribbed cuff. Maybe something like that. I think. I'm pretty sure that's the direction that I'm going. I feel like just with the all over texture, it might be a little much because it's an entirely different shape than the sweater, and they don't have to be like matchy-matchy. It doesn't have to be exactly the same. So I'm pretty sure that is what I'm going to do. I'm very excited about this one. I already have a photo shoot planned out in my head. If it will come into being or not, we'll see. We'll see if I can find somewhere outside secluded enough that I won't feel like a big dork taking pictures of myself. So that is the first thing that I've been working on. The second thing that I've been working on is actually a half-finished object, and that is this. This. Could have got my sock blocker, I guess, but this is just a ribbed vanilla sock, and I'm just about to the heel on the second one. And these I've dubbed my walking socks since getting locked down pretty much. George and I have been going for walks pretty much every day. She'll sometimes walk. Most of the time she's on her scooter or her bike. And I just really like having something on me to knit on so that we can stay out longer and I'm not bored. And for a month and a half of just knitting while on walks, almost a pair of socks, I'd say that's pretty good. As I said last episode as well, I think I'm going to, and I know I say this a lot, but I think I'm going to put these into a gift box. I have a ton of socks. I wear them in the fall and the winter, and I wore them a couple times this week even because it was cool enough. But I have a lot of them, and I just know that lots of my family would appreciate a pair of hand knit socks as well. So I think I'm going to start knitting some gift socks. The yarns that I'm using, this is all knit picks. This self-striping was a gift, and it is Felici in steamer trunk. And then this black is stroll tweed in Welly's Heather. And now I only had one skein of it, which I can totally make a pair of socks with 50 grams and a mini. So 50 grams with contrasting heels, toes, and cuffs. Except they do need to be a little bit shorter than this. So I work my socks from the top down, as you can see. And I was like, oh, I'm just going to do a full repeat, pop my heel in, and then a full repeat isn't enough to get you all the way to the toe. So there was four repeats, pretty much exactly, in this skein of yarn. So I actually just grabbed a skein of some leftovers. This is actually the Autumn and Indigo from my City Limits sweater. So I just made another little stripe in that. And it's a little bit different, but unless you really know and can really see it, you can't really tell. Like one is a bit of a bluer beige and one is a bit of a warmer beige. But they're so far apart, you would never know. I still have to Kitchener this toe up. And that is that project. I feel I've been like switching on projects a lot. Well, I kind of I'll get to a point in a project and then I'll get stalled. So like right now, my cat bells, the body is finished. So now I have to figure out sleeves and pockets and things. So I haven't really worked on that in a couple days. This next project is also something I haven't worked on in a little while. And I'll tell you why in a minute. This is my sun cardigan, and this was sent to me by We Are Knitters. They are a company out in Spain and they do knitting kits, and they asked if I would like to try one of their kits that come beautifully packaged in these bags, and I said yes, of course. So I chose the sun cardigan, which is this guy here, and I'm doing mine in this color, which is the dark copper colorway. It's this beautiful burnt orangey red. And this is a seamed cardigan. So I've talked about this before. Why do I only have two pieces? I should have, there we go. Okay, so I've also done the body of this sweater, kind of. I have my back piece, which is this guy. I have one front piece. I have two front pieces. And now what I have to do is block these and seam them. And now I understand why people don't like to seam cardigans. It's not the seaming. I don't think I'll have any problems with the seaming. I think I'm just going to crochet them together, either that or mattress stitch. Honestly, I haven't seamed anything before, so I'm going to test out a couple different ways and see what I like best. But I know I have to block it first, and then actually seam it before, because I'm doing in the pattern it says to knit the sleeves and seam those and then seam them in as well. But I'm going to seam the body of my cardigan and then pick up my stitches along the armhole, that's what it's called. I'm going to pick up my stitches along the arm here and then work them down to the cuff. But in order to do that, I have to seam it first. So this project has been on hold since I finished this, which was probably a couple days after my last podcast. Yeah, I finished it that weekend because we went to Justin's parents' house for a visit, and that's when I finished it. Yeah, so seaming. First I have to block, and then I have to seam. And I don't know how long that's going to take me to do. But I totally get it, because it's like a whole thing. It's not just picking up something and knitting it. It's like sleeves, you know, when you have to pick up for your sleeves or when you have to pick up for your front bands or something. It's just like, it's not hard. It's just a mental block. So I would like to try to, maybe I'll block it today. Justin and Georgia are gone this afternoon, so I was going to podcast and then wash my floors and then sit around and do nothing. But I can wash my floors and block these pieces, and then they'll be ready to seam. I think blocking them before is going to be really important, just because it's cotton. So it's lovely cotton to work with. It's all Pima cotton. so it might stretch a bit. And I'm making the extra large size, but I'm not doing the sleeves of the extra large. I think I'm gonna go down to at least the large, maybe the medium. I have to check the schematic to see what size I actually want to do. So, and in order, like, I have to figure that out first, and then I have to seam it so that the armhole is going to be the right dimensions for me to pick up. My sleeves. I'm really excited about this cardigan. I think it's going to be great for summer. So I do want to get this one off the needles. So this next project is something that I bought yarn for last winter. So I think November or December. And I was actually talking to Justin about this last night. It feels like when I was thinking about this project and like the yarn, it was like, oh, I felt like I bought that a really long time ago. It feels like a really long time ago that I bought this and like planned this project. When in reality it was 6 months ago? It's not a very long time. But the last 2 months has felt like 2 years to me. So anyways, I am making this guy. This is the Herrera top by Paula Pereira. And it is from Pom Pom Quarterly. This is the Summer Stripes issue from summer 2018. And I bought this book for this pattern. I bought yarn for this pattern. I'm not using the yarn that I bought. And the only reason I actually cast this on is because I was watching Cozy Up Knits, which is a podcast from some lovely sisters from Alberta, and their mom actually made this. And I was kind of iffy about it because of this back piece, but I have figured out a way. I'm going to alter this so that it's not so open. But anyways, their mom made this top and they showed it on their podcast and it's beautiful. So I wanted one. So I cast it on. It's just big and flowy and lovely. I originally bought some yarn for it, but I don't think with my modifications I was going to have enough. So instead of playing yarn chicken, I've decided to do something else. I remembered that I got this. This is Amarisu Parade Festive Summer Blend, and it's a fingering weight, and it's a blend of wool, cotton, silk, and linen. And this is spun and hand-dyed in Japan. And I actually got this at Knit City last year, which also feels like eons ago. The ladies from Amarisu actually gave this to me as a gift. So that was super generous of them. And I am very excited that I've been thinking about what to do for this yarn for so long. And since I got it, and I'm very excited that now I have the project. And this is what I've been working on pretty much nonstop for an entire week. I am alternating skeins, and I think I'm kind of in the middle of something, so bear with me. This is what I have so far. It starts bottom up. Oh, geez, that looks crazy. It starts bottom up, and it looks all flippy and funny because you have an I-cord I-cord cast on. And I love a good I-cord cast on using the right yarn. I wouldn't do an I-cord cast on with like a sock yarn or anything because it will flip. But I think because of the amount of cotton and linen and silk that's in here, it's going to have enough drape that it will go down once it's not all squished up on these needles and is blocked. But man, like this is a very oversized, loosey-goosey kind of top. And I think I had to cast on like 360 stitches in an I-cord cast on. And I think it took about 4 hours. It was a really long time. I don't usually knit at my desk. I should do it more because it's actually really comfortable. But I sat at my desk and watched back episodes of the Cozy Up Knits podcast for 4 hours and did this cast on. And it took a really long time. But it's going to be so worth it. Honestly, it'd probably take the same amount of time to do like a 6-row or a 10-row ribbed hem. So, I mean, if you think about it that way, it's not actually that long. Also, if you notice, there is some elongated stitches kind of at this edge here, which is pretty well what you're going to get with an I-cord cast on. I know lots of people don't like that. And I get it. It does, sometimes it can look a little strange, but with something so flowy and so light and lovely, like I think I've just put that as a design feature. In my opinion, that's just how it is. If you really don't like it, you can just not do an I-cord cast on. You can figure something else out. Or what I've done in the past, because there are certain projects where you wouldn't want this, an I-cord cast on and an I-cord bind off don't look the same. The cast on will have this elongated row of stitches. The bind off doesn't have that. So if you want the two edges to match, the best way to accomplish that would be to do a provisional cast on for your. So just skip this all together, do a provisional cast on, do whatever knitting you're going to do, unpick your provisional cast on, and then do an I-cord bind off. So it's a kind of an extra step, but if you really don't like that, that's a way around it. Like if you still want the I-cord edge, but you don't want that row of stitches, just do a provisional cast on and then do an I-cord bind off later. Easy peasy. I have a couple inches left to go on this, and then I get to start the really fun striping bit, which I don't even think I grabbed. I should probably grab my contrast colors to show you, yeah? So this is actually the original yarn that I bought for it. It's Holst Garn. I have Coast, and then I have some Tides. So the Coast is 55% wool and 45% cotton, and then the Tides is 70 wool and 30 silk. They're a little bit different, but I just liked the colors the best. So originally my body was going to be black, but I didn't have enough of the black potentially to do the modifications that I wanted to do. Didn't want to chance it. I don't feel like waiting like 12 weeks for yarn, or however long Canada Post is taking now. So anyways, for the 3 stripes, I'll show you the picture again. These 3 kind of super neat angly chevrony stripes there. I have 2 options. So I have gray, lighter gray, and black, or gray, lighter gray, and kind of this purpley color. So I'm not sure what I'm gonna do yet, but what do you think? I could do black or purple. Did I say purple before? It's purple. It's like a very muted kind of purple. I don't know what I think yet. I think I'm gonna really like it. Whatever colors it is. But I just don't know what those colors are gonna be yet. And that's it. That's all the things that I've been working on. Usually I don't really have that many things on the needles at once, but technically I only have 2 things to knit on at this moment. without either seaming something or writing more of a pattern. So when I just want to sit down and knit, this is what I'm knitting on. I've also gotten some things in the mail, which is always very exciting. This actually came, I think, right after I podcasted last time, so I put it away and almost forgot to bring it out again. But I got a bunch of yarn from Altered Skeins, and she is Tamara from Ottawa, Ontario, so she is a Canadian dyer. And I actually came across her yarn because I think she sent in, or somebody else sent in a skein of her yarn for the Indie Mini Sock Swap, and I really loved it. So I went on her Etsy shop and bought some yarn that I didn't really need. Anyways, so one of them skeined up already because I had an idea for it, and then I just kind of stalled on it, but what is this is... do I have the thing in here? Yeah, I think it's her Foxtrot base, which is 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon. This color is called Coal. And it is just a beautiful kind of medium tonal gray. This is also Foxtrot, and this is Steal My Breath. It is a kind of dark, muted blue with charcoaly bits in it. You can see a little bit in there. Oh, it's blue and gray and just lovely. This is another skein of Foxtrot, and it is called Razzle. It's like turquoise with these turquoise speckles, some medium gray, some lighter bits, some darker bits. I just thought this one was really fun. And a lot of my yarn right now is in the pink kind of warmer tone. I feel myself going into a blue-green phase. Just saying, I've been very drawn to blues and greens lately. And yellows. This is actually a different base. This is Swanky MCN, so our merino cashmere nylon base. And this is Begin Again. It's this lovely, like, little butter yellow with some brown and yellow, and there's some kind of chartreuse speckles in there, some greeny bits, some orangey bits. I just really liked this one. And so I got it. I don't have any plans for any of them, honestly. These three look very lovely together. And if I was ever so inclined, I would make another wishing rock out of them. They do look very nice together. I didn't really intend to use them together. That's just how it happened. I find whenever, like, a lot of the time, especially when I go to a fiber festival or something, I always like have a palette. And so all the yarns that I kind of buy are usually within that range. I mean, the yellow kind of was an outsider on that one, but that's okay. So actually about 5 minutes before I started podcasting, I got some more yarn in the mail, which is weird because it's Sunday and they actually like brought it up to my door. So it must have been one of the courier trucks driving along. And it actually came fairly quickly for Canada Post right now, which I was surprised. I was prepared to wait for it for a while. But anyways, before last episode, I was talking about the Indie Mini Sock Swap and how I was thinking of kind of doing it again, but maybe doing it a little differently. Katie and I talked about it, and we are going to do it. So coming this fall, we will be doing mystery mini skein sets using yarn from Canadian dyers. The sets are going to include a different, like, 5 mini skeins of yarn you'll get. Let me start this again. So, all Canadian dyers, and each mystery set is going to have 5 skeins of yarn, each from a different dyer. So you'll get 5 20-gram minis, each of them from a different Canadian dyer. And then we also are going to set up mood boards. So I've already started like Pinteresting some mood boards. So you can pick kind of we have one right now. We haven't settled on them exactly, but like I have one right now that's all really like deep blues and greens and like dark foresty colors, and then one that's kind of like orange and red fall and mustard and those kind of tones, and then one that's kind of like pink, and so we'll just have kind of different mood boards, and your mystery set will kind of be tailored to that, but they'll all kind of be different, and they'll all be from different dyers. So we're very excited about that idea. I haven't really got all of the specifics yet, but I saw that Erin, who is Red Fox Fibers, she is one of my favorite dyers from Alberta. She sent up a Instagram post saying that she wouldn't be doing a shop update until the fall. Well, I want these to come out in the fall. So I wanted to talk to her about it first, and then I ordered some yarn for her for that. Long story, I have some beautiful skeins of yarn that just came in the mail. The first one here, these are all on her wild sock base, because this is going to be a sock skein, like a mini. Oh my goodness, I'm not used to podcasting for this long. This is going to be all sock yarn for this one. I have ideas about maybe doing a DK one down the road, but I'm comfortable with sock minis at the moment, so that's what I'm going to stick to. So this is all her wild sock base, which is 75/25 merino nylon. So this is Wild Horses, which is this really lovely, rich, like chocolate brown. It has kind of undertones of purple. So there's that one. There's this guy, which is Mallard, and it's a beautiful, vibrant green. There is this guy, which is Driftwood, a beautiful kind of warm gray neutral. There's Tundra, which is a bit of a variegated, and it has kind of gold and orange and red and browns, just a very, very lovely kind of variegated tonal yarn there. And then we have True North, which is beautiful Canadian red. So those are all going to be a part of the mystery mini skein set thing that will be happening sometime in the fall. She also sent this, which I did not order, but she put in there anyways. This is her Yackety-Yak Sock Set. And so it's a yak nylon merino. And I've never worked with yak before. So I thank you, Erin, so much. This was very generous. I'm really excited to use this for myself. It's in this beautiful kind of muted pink color, and then a lovely heathered gray, because I think the yak kind of has this undertone of heathers. So I'm super excited about this, and maybe this will be my next walking sock cast on, but they will have to be for me and not for a gift. If you love Erin's yarn as much as I do, she, as I said, she's not going to be doing any shop updates until the fall. But I just checked her website, and she is having a sale for 15% off everything in her shop. So she actually has yarns, she has kits, she has notions. She does do pom-poms as well, but she doesn't have any of those. I don't think she has any of those. That's kind of her. She like makes fur pom-poms. They're beautiful. I have one. Oh, I have one right here, actually. This is a fox one, I think. Or it could be totally wrong. But I have one. I haven't found the perfect thing to put it on yet, so it just like sits so I can look at it. Anyways, yeah, so she has 15% off everything in her shop. You don't need a code or anything like that. So I'll make sure I put the links to everything down below here. And that's all the stuff that's come in the mail so far. I mean, I haven't contacted any other dyers yet, even about this. I just saw that she wasn't going to be dyeing yarn, and I didn't want to miss out having her yarn be included. So I jumped on that. I said, hey, I don't have any details yet, but is this something that you want to do? And she said, yes. So then I bought all the yarn. For other shop stuff, I just wanted to ask too, if there's any Canadian, like I do want to keep this, not to say that international people can't buy these kits when they do come out, because that would be silly. I just wanted to say the only reason I'm keeping it Canadian is, well, there's a couple of reasons. One is there are so many amazing yarn dyers out there. It would be ridiculous for me to choose. So limiting myself to only Canadian dyers makes it so that I don't have to make so many decisions, which is always a plus for me. And also shipping right now is just a little crazy. And I just want to keep it in Canada so I don't have to deal with international shipping. Canada Post is subpar at the best of times. They're kind of ridiculous right now. I'm surprised that this got to me so quickly. And not to say, that sounded really bad and I apologize. I don't have anything against the people that are working for Canada Post right now. I know everybody is working really hard. It sucks. Canada Post has always been really expensive and quite slow. So now that it's compounded, I think a lot of people just don't have much sympathy for Canada Post because it's not like they were super great to begin with. And I don't know. I just don't want anyone to feel like I'm blaming the people that work at Canada Post. I'm blaming Canada Post as a company. You know what I mean? Not any of I love my mail carriers. I love the ladies that work at my post office. They have absolutely nothing to do with this. The people that are working for Canada Post are amazing. Canada Post as a company kinda sucks. I'll just leave it at that. Yeah, so that is also a big reason. And I just want to support my fellow Canadians, and I want to highlight some amazing Canadian yarn. Because I'm Canadian. I like being Canadian. Anyways, is there anything else? Yes, there was one other thing. I have a lot of patterns that are going to be needing testers very soon. I'm trying to use this time to finish up, just get all the patterns polished. I'm going to be sending them to a tech editor very shortly. I am going to be needing some testers for some super secret projects. If that's something you're interested in, the first way that I'm going to be kind of reaching out to people to see if they want to be testers, don't comment here because honestly, I won't be there's no good way to contact you through YouTube, so don't leave a comment. Don't send me an email about it because it will probably get lost and forgotten. I'm not quite there yet, but I will be soon. So if you're interested in doing some test knitting of some really secret projects that are really fun, sign up for our email newsletter. I'll put a link to it down below, but if you sign up, I'm going to go there even before, usually kind of how I roll out test knitting because I do get a lot of people wanting to do it. Usually I'll do Ravelry first, and then if I don't get quite enough, then I'll go to Instagram. This time I'm going to do our email list first. So if that's something you're interested in, sign up for our email. You'll be the first to know when I start looking for people, and then I'll go to Ravelry, and then I'll go to Instagram. So just a heads up, if you are a test knitter or want to be a test knitter. I've had people ask too if, oh, I've never done a test before. Is it okay if I apply? Absolutely. When I do test knits, I'm not necessarily looking for really proficient knitters. Like, I want people to know how to knit, but you don't have to be an expert. You don't have to have tests before. Like, basically all I ask is for you to knit the pattern and let me know if anything is wrong or unclear. So sometimes it's actually good to have a less experienced, like, as long as you can finish it on time, within the time frame, and you're fairly confident that way. If there's techniques that you don't know, or, you've only knit 1 or 2 sweaters maybe, or you're, it's not your first time doing lace or something like that, that's totally okay, because it is good to have perspective from someone who's less experienced, because they might see different things. Someone who's more experienced, like, there's a reason why you can't edit your own patterns, is because I know what I'm trying to say. An experienced knitter, someone who's really proficient, who has knit my patterns before, they'll probably know what I'm trying to say, or they'll read through and just understand what I mean. A less experienced knitter might not. And that's good, because that gives me the opportunity to clarify. So yeah, the answer is yes. If you've never tested before, or, are a little bit less experienced of a knitter, absolutely, I would like you to test. So anyone is welcome. Just sign up for our email list. You'll be the first to know when I need people. Yeah, that's it for knitting stuff. For life stuff, I mean, it's kind of the same. We're all just waiting. No, really, everyone's good. Yeah. That's about it. We have been expanding our bubble a little bit, so we have been visiting Justin's parents, which is really nice. Georgia and Justin are there right now, and we've actually kind of been over there every weekend, which is, it's nice. It's nice to see people other than my family. And then I also I was going to talk about this delicious drink, because it's the first time I've ever made like a tonic, or what do you call it? Like a syrup, like a flavored syrup. I have a soda stream, so I have carbonated water, and I made some mint cucumber syrup, which I'd never done before, and I don't know why I've never done it before. It's super easy and super delicious. We did, this one is just soda water and some of this stuff. It's basically you boil sugar and water for a while and then pour it over some stuff and then strain it, and it's delicious. This one is just with soda water and some extra cucumbers. We also made it with soda water and some vodka, and those were great when it was warm outside. So I'll try and find the recipe to that and put it in the box below. Oh yeah, and okay, so ever since this pandemic started, people have been baking lots, and I've been seeing all the delicious things that they're baking, and bread is delicious. I love some good bread, but the thing that I've really been craving since seeing everyone make it is cinnamon buns. I was like, yes, I'm gonna make some cinnamon buns. I have some yeast. I'm gonna make them. Like, they're gonna be delicious. Weeks went by and I never made these cinnamon buns. So then I said, okay, I'm gonna make this easier on myself. And so I just went out and bought those Pillsbury like rolls for cinnamon buns, and it's been sitting in my fridge for 3 weeks. I have not made these cinnamon rolls. So the last time I was at the grocery store, I was standing at the bakery in front of these delicious looking cinnamon buns, and I just bought them because I should have just bought them in the first place. I have very high not very high expectations of what I'm going to do. But I have certain things that I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to do this today. Oh yeah, I'm going to do this today. I have a cross stitch pattern that I literally have like 3 hours left to do on it. It's some French knots and finishing. I'm not doing that. I'm not making cinnamon buns. I'm not baking bread. I'm cooking probably less than I usually am. Because I don't like cooking. I'll bake, but I don't like cooking. But yeah, so I just bought the damn cinnamon rolls. And I still have some in the fridge if I really feel the need to make some Pillsbury cinnamon rolls. That is my random story of the day. Yeah. And that's it for today. I really thank you for joining me, and I hope you're all doing well, and I hope to see you again this week, within the week, but I'm not making any promises. It's too hard when Georgia's here. Georgia might be going back to school on June 1st. Part-time, temporary, lots of things in place. I know this is a very divided issue, so I'm not really going to go too much into it. For our family and for Georgia, we just think that it is the best thing for her to go back, even if it's just for a couple weeks. So I'm just going to leave it at that. Wish us luck. Anyways, thank you for joining me, and I will see you soon. Bye.